and we are watching an entirely new space program take shape. One based on civilian contractors, tens of thousands of satellites above us, and long, dangerous trips. Here to tell us how this isn't our parent space program, please welcome distinguished Toastmaster Carson Shaffer with his speech, "What a Great Time to Be Alive."
In 2010, President Barack Obama came to the Space Center, got all my friends together, and promised them he would not lay off one single astronaut. 3 days later, he canceled all of our manned rocket programs. But he didn't lay off any astronauts. We still had the space station, though. So we paid $100 million per astronaut, $2 billion in total, to go back and forth to get up there. He said American spirit would fill the gap. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, well, here we are, almost 20 years later without a NASA, and indeed, American spirit had to step up to fill the gap, and they have. We have SpaceX, Blue Origin, Firefly, Virgin Galactic, they're all flying now. And I'm loving it, right? Yeah, it's the billionaires. But wouldn't you rather they were building spaceships than another super yacht? I'll take the spaceships, thank you. When planes were first invented, it was really dangerous, and only the military flew the mail. And about 1 in 6 pilots died. If this room was a squadron when we started, these 2 tables wouldn't be here at the end of the year. It was really dangerous. But the technology improved. And after a while, 2 ex-military pilots said, I think we can finesse it and get our own company going and do it cheaper. And they did, and they got the contract. And then a buddy probably said, hey man, if you're going to New York, I got $5, can you take me? And passenger air travel was born. But you had to get the military out of it and let the civilians take over. Civilians like SpaceX, Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic, and Firefly. I was out grilling with my son one evening, and he goes, Dad, look at that! And I looked, and I saw 20 Starlink satellites in this little line about that big at arm's length. Tick, 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 tick. I thought of every sci fiction book I have ever read in my life and went, and a chill ran down my spine. And I thought, well, I don't want my son to be too scared of what he sees. And I said, Sam, what do you think? And he goes, Dad, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Potato, potato. Right now, there's about 36,000 satellites out there. That's 1 satellite for every seat in the arena times 2. 8,000 of them are Starlink. And I am here to tell you today that of that 8,000, 3 out of 4 are still working. We only have 2,000 dead Starlink satellites. Hey! But they're going to replace them. They're launching 35,000 more. And with the Chinese constellation, we'll be having more than 100,000 satellites. Okay. I live way out in the country. I have a nighttime sky filled with stars. On good nights, I can see the Milky Way. These days, 3 or 4 of those little stars are moving all the time. It's going to become more and more until we get ads, right? And what do you think the first ad's going to be? Probably for Starlink, right? You see all the launches that are going on out there, right? Continually, sometimes multiple launches in a day. We live where this is all happening. Okay, there's a lot going on right now. And the big ones are coming. SpaceX's Starship and Boeing's Artemis. And they're going to the moon. And we're not going to just visit this time. I think, honestly, that within 10 years, we'll have a permanently manned moon base. Like take the ISS and just put it on the moon. Talk about oversimplification, right? Just take the ISS, put it on the moon, But in 10 years, we will have people living on the moon. Can you imagine that? For 2 million years, Homo sapiens have stood and looked at the moon. We're the generation who's going to live there. Right? One of my earliest memories was watching the moon landing in 1969 in this little tiny house that my aunt lived in a small room with this minuscule black and white TV. And it's one of my first memories. The odds are good that my last memories are going to be of us going to Mars. How cool is that? And Mars isn't something big, bright, and shiny in the sky that's only 3 days away, right? Mars is that little tiny red dot that most people can't even see anymore. We went to the moon, and we're going to go to Mars. We went to the moon because we had the tech to build a ship that could go in interstellar space and land on the moon and get back. To do that, we had to make a computer. Simple computer. Let us do rendezvous and land. Well, it's 50 years later. That's how long it took us to make a computer that could get us to Mars. And just like the moon, we can do it. Okay? We don't need anything that we don't already have or don't know how to make now. Right? Right here, right now, Van Halen, we have everything we need to go to the moon. And then go to Mars. And then where? Then where? Where do we go next? What a great time to be alive. Because finally, once again, the sky is truly the limit. Mr. Toastmaster.
There you go. All right.